because there's not many waves and there's not that big of waves.
Well, that and you'd be like in the rocks.
Oh, that's it.
So this is where we're deciding to pull over. We're gonna take lunch here. It's about 12:15, 12:20 on the California coast. Somewhere, I don't know where. But pretty good. Blue view. What do you think, bud? Is this good enough for lunch?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll do. It'll do. So amongst the things, the other day we were talking about things we fixed on the motorhome since the last trip. I forgot to give a mega shout out to something inside the motorhome. Really makes a big deal, honestly, because when we drove through the canyons of the redwoods and then this morning through whatever. Anyways, I have my windows down, so it smells so good outside. And the last few trips, when I have the windows down, it creates some negative pressure in this motorhome, whatever, and it would suck that black tank shit smell out, and the whole motorhome would smell like a porta potty. And it used to drive me crazy because if we were somewhere nice, we could never just unroll the windows because it would smell like shit within 5 minutes. But a few months ago, we put in that new bad dog. So what the problem was apparently is the seal at the bottom was all old and crusty, and then there's a seal in the toilet that, see, there's water in there. That the old one would never hold water. That black seal was cracked and old, and it would just let water down. But the point is air could come up, and we would like somehow, I don't know how it draws a vacuum, but we would suck air up in here. But now the new toilet fixed that problem 95%, and it's also 3 inches taller. So pretty stoked about that. But the bummer is you can see the old footprint. So this same brand but newer version was shifted back. So I had to cut this whole damn thing, notch it out to make the toilet fit, which was a pain in the butt. But we got a 3-inch taller toilet for Dad. And so far on this trip, knock on wood, it's fixed the problem. So I'm super happy because all this morning we had the windows down in the front halfway, and we didn't draw any stink. Okay, lunch is over, kids. Stomach's full?
Yep.
Yeah? All right, onward. Cooper, what are you working on, dude?
A puzzle.
Where's the lid?
It's down here.
Drive you nuts. Alright, how's it coming along?
Not too good.
No.
I almost got it, but like it doesn't. Yeah.
There's a handful of almosts.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keep on plugging away. We're just driving. We're still along the coast. There's the ocean right there. Super pretty. Little glimpses of beauty. And then there's a different beauty. Be loud, bud. What are you working on back there?
1942 on the Game Boy.
On the Game Boy Color, people.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I suck, but he's pretty good at it.
Still working on the old Game Boy Color. Back from, I don't know, early 2000s. Alright. Look at the water. Town with inns and art galleries and coffee shops, and nothing really for us to see. Dolphin Gallery, International Realty, like a real estate, bookstore. I don't know. All these towns just have a gas station, a little general store, coffee shops, maybe a restaurant, but there's nothing really to do as far as that, and there's really rarely a place to park a motorhome of this magnitude. Here's JR's Home and Auto Center, so it's like the local store. Anyways, we're just driving through all these little towns. They're cute, they're nice, but nothing for me to do here. I don't drink coffee, and we're not going to go look at art. Beautiful. Look outside. Co-pilots playing video games, missing out on this awesome mountain. Meanwhile, I'm almost crashing because I'm trying to film. Dude, talk about a zig and a zag. Whoa. Oh boy. Alright, hang it up. Okay, we are in Fort Bragg, California, at a Chevron. Can't really see the gas, but our average we paid was, because we got two tankfuls, or not two tankfuls, anyways, two things, so it was $4.74 a gallon. Cooper, how many miles did we drive since the last fill up?
229 miles.
All right, and what MPGs did we get?
7.53.
All right, so 7.5.
Yeah.
It's about to be expected. It's about average. Okay. Well, we're going to get back on the road here for another, it's probably 6 hours of driving. Just trying to see their reaction. Bailey's paying the price. This is not filmed in reverse. Oh, she turned around. I want to see her reaction. Easy. That's a good girl. That's the way I went. Check out the ground.
It's cool.
We're at Glass Beach. They're all literally, as far as you can see, just sea glass. And sea glass. You see everybody hunting for glass pieces. Look at all this stuff everywhere.
That's crazy, really? This is the thing that doesn't set in your feet.
Okay, Bailey, enjoy. Trestles. Impressive. Well, that is definitely impressive. Water's cold. We just went to the Glass Beach in Fort Bragg, and we had our water shoes on, so we went in the water ankle deep, but it was chilly willy. Forest. Ooh, that's a good spot. I wonder if you stand there for the night. We're on our way to Avenue of the Giants. We are among giants. Look at the size of that tree. The giant redwood. By the time I got my camera started, we missed the first big ones.
But the whole thing is 32 miles.
We're in the Avenue of the Giants. Just cruising through. I know it seems fast, but I mean, once you've seen one or two, you've seen them all. Guys, look out the window. Keep the blind up. We're gonna stop ahead, and about 10 miles there's a visitor center that's closed because it's about 7 p.m. right now. I just wanted to make sure we got here, but even though the visitor center is closed, Cooper's telling me that there's 2 trails across the street from the visitor center, so we'll still stop, check it out. We got about an hour of daylight left, so we'll have plenty of time to walk and touch and smell. Okay, we've officially pulled over at the visitor center with no intentions of going in it, but there's a couple hikes around it. But for people like me, I promised a view of the new taillights. Look at that thing. Look at those bad dogs. It's not really dark enough to appreciate it, but it's light enough to still see everything. I know about 3/4 of you watching right now don't care, but there's that 1/4 that's cool. I'm just saying. But look at that, they look pretty clean. They're higher up. Turn signal, brake lights, I love it. The size of these things.
They're both 0.6. Yeah, this one's 0.62 and that one, I guess it's
Okay, well maybe if you're lucky we'll do both. Let's do the nature loop.
Thing, but like different directions.
No, they would have two different names though.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, I'm gonna cut in front of you guys and take a picture. Okay, keep reading. No, keep reading. I'm gonna start filming. Bailey, keep reading. You were...
I read it.
Oh, you read that whole thing?
I skipped the poison oak.
See how comfortable she is about lying to people? Her and her brother. Look at the size of these fallen ones.
That's a cool.
Boys, stop for a second. Your sister's taking a picture of the cool root system. Love it.
This one's stuck in the ground.
That's right.
Is that a tree that split?
Okay, go stand over next to this thing. Bailey spotted this tree. Sorry it's grainy. It's really honestly getting kind of dark here now. But this tree at an angle, all those vertical shoots are sticking straight up.
Branches are one day gonna kill it.
Yeah, they're gonna get too big and heavy and make it fall. Yeah, you really can't see it in this video. They're all camouflage, plus it's grainy because the phone's trying. It's a little too dark for the phone right now. It's doing a good job of lighting everything up, but what do you think, Gruber? Can you see yourself?
Yeah.
Good morning, Pokemon. We are, you can't really see it. There we are. We're on the side of a highway on like a flat spot. And look at this hill next. Look at this beautiful greenery next to us. It's getting steamy from the eggs with some ground beef and diced potatoes. I'll show you guys in a minute, but we drove till about 11 last night. And I just finally pulled over and said, screw it. There was a spot I found that was really nice, so we parked here. But I don't know, it's 8:40 or so on the 6th, which is our 6th day of our trip. And we'll talk later about tomorrow. Or I mean, not tomorrow, yesterday, because we didn't talk about yesterday. We just drove and drove and drove till late at the night. Okay, so start thinking about things to talk about. So this is, not that we saw it last night because it was 11 o'clock, driving to the Bigfoot Museum, but this is our side of the road, and then I saw this hill, or this mound of dirt, and then I saw this little road. This road just goes around this pile of dirt to the other side of this, spot. So I was like, well, it's Sunday, so hopefully there's no construction workers. But it worked out pretty good. Got chilly last night. Come here, Coop, real quick. Bailey, when you're done, come to the back of the motorhome. Just goes around this pile. Breaking news. We're missing a gas cap. I wonder how much of our precious fuel is spilled out on the highway. Cooper has a theory, though. What's our theory, Cooper? So I think I agree with you.
There was a guy talking to us.
A gas station worker.
Yeah. So we think that he distracted us because he was talking, and then we just left.
Shit. He saw our map, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm from Washington. You got to go here, here, and here." And we were talking about the trips and then that's the only thing I can think of. I don't think anybody siphoned our gas out. We were driving all day yesterday. Yeah, that was right when we got into Fort Bragg. So that was before Pebble Beach and everything, or Glass Beach. Anyway, so speaking of which, so yesterday we woke up in San Francisco. We'll talk out here with the nice cool air and the beautiful scenery. So we woke up in San Francisco, got up early, went to the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know if we talked about the Golden Gate Bridge, so let's talk about it now. Thoughts, impressions?
Big. It was big.
Big. Gigante. But yeah, the bridge is huge with the cables and the things. Okay, so the bridge is cool. We saw that. We hung out there for like an hour. The cops were nice to us. And then we drove to the beach, and then it was just a long, windy day yesterday, huh? Yeah. Huh?
A lot of driving.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a lot of driving yesterday. I'll look at the map later. I don't know how many hundreds of miles, but we put on some miles yesterday so for logistics conversation, we caught up. We're a day ahead of schedule because we wanted to go to, today we're going to go to a Bigfoot museum, and I found out that it's closed on Mondays when we were going to go there. So today is Sunday the 6th. It was a combination of, we arrived in Fort Bragg with Glass Beach about 4 or 5 hours earlier than I thought we were gonna. Because when we left San Francisco, I was like, oh, it's a pretty long drive and there'll be stuff to do along the way. There really wasn't anything to do. We weren't gonna stop and look at art, and we're not gonna stop and drink coffee. And you know, if you've seen one beach, you've seen them all. So we did a few stops and looked at stuff, and we did a couple walks, looked at the trees and stuff, and then that was it. Like, you know, how often are you gonna stop and look at trees? So the day didn't take as long as I thought it was gonna. So we ended up in Fort Bragg early. So a combination of in Fort Bragg early, then I was like, oh, well, let me see if the Bigfoot Museum's open on Sunday. And I looked, I'm like, oh shit, not only is it open on Sunday, but it's closed on Monday. So that's, I'm like, all right, well, let's keep driving. So Sunday morning we get there, which we're only like about a half hour from the museum. It's a tiny hole in the wall, so don't be too excited. So we're gonna do that today. So we're a day ahead of schedule because we were supposed to be waking up in Fort Bragg this morning and then driving up to down the road. Here is a campground. We're going to stay at a campground tonight, and then tomorrow morning go into the Bigfoot Museum. So anyways, we doubled. I allotted too much time for things to do, and there wasn't anything to do. They don't have disc golf course in the Redwood Forest. So somebody's been praying to the gods. So anyways, so yeah, we drove and drove and drove. And let me tell you guys, people, I get that it's beautiful and I get that it's quiet and green and everything. But when you're driving on a road and a 31-foot, almost 15,000 pound motorhome is riding your ass, you need to get over and let that bad dog, that tuned Triton V10 just on by. Let it cruise. There was so many, I'm driving the motorhome and there was so many, like, shit, 6-8 times yesterday where I'm just on people's ass. Like, dude, get over. Like, because when courteous driver, best driver in the history of driving, I understand. So anytime there was a turnout and there was even just 1 or 2 people behind me, I'd pull over, let them pass, they'd honk, do their flashers, put their hand out, wave. Awesome. That's called courteousness. That's called respect for other people's time and day. But then you get these cars where, okay, I get it. You want to go 35 and a 55, but fucking A, I don't. And so I'd be riding their butt. And anyways, so a little bit stressful for Dad yesterday because, you know, what do we say, Bailey? We're not in a hurry, but we're not in the slow. We can't think of a better slogan. But, you know, I'm not in a hurry, but I don't want to go 35 and a 55. Anyways, but we still got ahead of schedule. What else did we do yesterday? Oh, Glass Beach, Bailey. What were your thoughts and impressions on Glass Beach?
It was pretty, and there was lots of cool rocks and stuff.
Yeah. And we, I'm going to talk to the boys. Go get the rock you found.
Oh, okay.
So we weren't supposed to take stuff. It said don't take the glass. So I guess the history of that thing was it was the city's dump. They used to just dump into the ocean. Good old, you know, humans loving on nature. So there was all kinds of stuff there, metal and glass and whatnot. But the glass was cool. We found a lot of cool stuff, huh?
Yeah, but it wasn't glass like you think from a window where like you cut yourself. It was just like little rocks, maybe like pebble size.
Yeah,
And
they're all smooth and everything, right?
Yeah, and there was mostly white, but there was some green and a little like red and stuff.
A couple of little blue ones I saw. Yeah, it was just like glass bottles and stuff. But then the tumbling of the waves is what micro breaks the edges and then eventually gets smooth. So, but Bailey, here we go. Bailey found a cool, it's like, we don't know, stainless steel or aluminum. What do we decide?
It's steel.
It's kind of, yeah. But it's this cool, it looks like a rock pebble, but it's a piece of metal. So, yeah, so I said, well, sign said don't take glass. So we took a steel rock from Glass Beach to remember Glass Beach. So every time you look at that piece of metal, you'll think of Glass Beach.
Backwards, but yes.
Yes. But so Glass Beach was cool. We were there for, I don't know, maybe half hour, 45 minutes with the water shoes. So we were walking in the water. We got our feet in the Pacific, the mighty Pacific. Dad, we live on the Pacific. Then we left Glass Beach. So we got gas there. And so now I got to buy a new gas cap. Son of a gun. Yeah, I think you're right, Cooper. Because I always set it, you can see the drool. I always set it right here. And then I must have completely forgot.
And it looks like it did spill some.
Yeah, so some of our hard-earned money spilled out. Anyways, and then we just drove and drove and drove. And then I was like, oh, you know what we can do? We can make the redwood forest, the sequoia forest, before it gets too dark. So sure enough, we got there around 7. And then that's the videos you saw. And then I don't know if we talked about that, but those trees were massive, huh? A couple 1,000-year-old trees. It was pretty wild. We were, Cooper had a good point. I don't know if we filmed it, but they had a section of a tree cut and laying down, and they had it, you know, you could see the rings and stuff, and it said the center was the tree started growing in 920, the year 920. And then Cooper had it was a cool thing to think about. So you were talking about when we touched parts of the tree?
So when you touch the middle of like the tree of like the rings, you are touching something that was like over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, something you were touching something that exists. It's almost, well, I guess if you think about it, rocks too have been here forever. So if you touch a rock, you're touching a trillion-year-old piece of something. But yeah, so as you move your finger through the rings of the tree, you're like, dude, I'm touching something that was around in the 1700s. And then you go back, ooh, I was touching something around in the 1400s. Like, it was just crazy to think about that those rings are, you know, not as old as grandma, but pretty old. So, yeah, that was cool. So the forest was cool. We saw some big trees, went on a little hike, and then we just kept driving and driving. I was going to try to make the campground tonight that we're going to, last night. I was going to try to get there a night early, but I don't know if there's any sites available, and so I just found this spot and pulled over. So I think that was our day, just driving. Glass Beach, Golden Gate Bridge, the Redwood Forest. What else, kids? Anything else? I don't know. You guys always say no, but I know you're not even thinking about it. You're just shaking the rocks in your head. No? Okay. Well, we just had that delicious breakfast. We're going to keep going about a half hour to hopefully get parking for the Bigfoot Museum. And then we're going to start driving north. I think today, remind me guys, because it's been so long, but I think today we're going to drive into Oregon. We're like up here right now. Maybe here. Somewhere. So today we might get into Oregon. So remind me to stop and take a picture. I'm going to completely brain fart. It's been so long. Okay, bye.